Welcome, everyone. Today's talk is how to create a games industry in your country. And this is pointed at countries that don't currently have a game industry. I'm going to share my slides. Here we are. All right, here are my slides, and I hope that you appreciate them. Oh, I've got to put them on play. On play. Here we go. They're on play. All right. So this is the 18th of December, 2023. And I'm assuming that you mostly want to look at the slides and not me, so I'm up in the little corner. And there's my email. Silicon Valley is known as the hub of technological innovation and entrepreneurial spirit, and that has led to the attempted creation of copies in other places with names such as Silicon Beach, Silicon Roundabout, Silicon Docks, Silicon Wadi, and other such ersatz places. And with the success of the games industry in the United States, the European Union, Japan, and China, the desire for founding of a games industry in unserved parts of the world is growing dramatically, especially since much current technological innovation comes from the game industry. In this talk, I discuss how to create a games industry where there is none. So from the outside, Silicon Valley looks easy to replicate. All you have to do is find some unused piece of dirt, slap up some industrial shells for open plan offices, and come up with a snappy name for your sign, something like Silicon Beach or Silicon Dust Bowl. And if you've forgotten space for trendy restaurants and affordable housing for your development teams, then so what? Okay, I didn't really mean that. The game industry is kind of like this, and I'm going to try from a high level to describe to you the various required parts and the required costs. This is the high level picture, and when you get to the end of this talk, you might want to come back to this picture once again. It tells you all of the pieces in one slide, and this talk could just be one slide. All right. Number one, game development talent. You cannot declare that you have a robust games industry in your country unless you have a way to create local game development talent, a way to create and utilize new technologies with that talent, and a way to deploy that highly educated talent on game development locally. In 2004, in the United States, the only way you could get a position in the games industry was to have already been on a team that shipped a AAA title, sort of a catch-22. In 2004, when Electronic Arts and Microsoft decided that rating other companies' talents to build their own game development teams was a zero-sum game, that they both ought to try and pull together and support the creation of university programs on game development. And Electronic Arts and Microsoft supported some 38 different university game development programs and put all the founders of those programs onto the same cruise ship for several years worth of socialization and information transfer so that there was some coordination between the programs. The amazingly humorous part of this effort was that when you spoke to the hiring people in the games industry at Electronic Arts and Microsoft in 2006, 2007, they all continued with the mantra of, we only hire people who have already shipped a AAA title. That eventually got sorted out by the various game development programs having end of semester demo days where the student built games could be presented directly to the game development hiring people so that they could see the nascent talent visible in what was being presented. So the starting thing required to create a games industry is to build an enduring game development program that your nascent games industry can hire from. Figure 2 shows the high level of what such a prototypical game development education program should look like. We spoke about this in detail in a previous column, but it basically is a master's level program with a master's in game development or a master's in game design or a master's in game art and design with focus on concept art or 3D modeling or game animation or game sound design. And the end of each of these degree programs is a year-long advanced game projects course, parts 1 and part 2, and that pushes right into, with best projects go into an incubation and acceleration center for game and technology startups. All right, so this is what the university program ought to look like if you create one. Question becomes how big a program to create. And I've been approached by many places globally, and they are all interested in creating a games program. And when you ask them how big a program do they want to create, they usually all say, can we start with something small? And small usually means maybe 3 classes with 53 students total for those classes. And you can do that the first semester, but the second semester could potentially be 200 plus students, which is great. But if you started small, that means you don't have any faculty to teach. You don't have much space for teaching labs, all of these things that are somewhat hard to get on short notice. My dean at USC gave me an 800 square foot space 2 weeks before the semester started in 2005, in fall 2005. $200,000 to purchase computing hardware and furniture, and he said I had to have 3 game development classes running in 2 weeks. He also gave me the bonus problem saying I could only have that space for 90 days, even though the semester runs 5 months. I worried all semester that he was going to be at the door asking us to move out once 3 months had passed. Well, we did get to have the space all semester long, and we then had 150 students the next semester in that same 800 square foot space and no additional budget. Our first demo day had 12 people from the games industry come to visit, and all 53 students could be in the lab to see the demos and do the demos. Second semester, we had 65 people from the games industry attend and 150 students trying to cram themselves, phone booth style, into that spacious 800 square foot space. So we did not get much additional space for 10 more years or much of a budget until we got a 4,000 square foot space off campus, the USC Game Pipe Laboratory. So for those of you thinking start small, please just do the right thing and figure out how large you want the program to be and shoot for the stars. I suggest that you plan for 1,000 total students taught by about 65 faculty. I can send you the spreadsheet as to why those numbers make sense if you so desire. Where do you get the teaching talent? Well, hiring for new faculty for a games program in the United States in a city where there is a large development effort already happening is easy. There are plenty of game developers that would love to teach part-time in the evenings, and many who would like a career change to the easy life of being a full-time faculty member. I say easy life as a kind of humorous joke for those of you who are faculty. But if you're trying to create a games industry in a new country where there are not any developers, then you need to do special things to acquire your faculty. There are 2 parts to this. One, bring in game development faculty from other countries by offering them a great opportunity and a salary double what they made back home or wherever they currently are. And 2, educate your own faculty from the best students you find in your program, and you need to do both of these 2 parts, by the way. Now, one country I've been following has founded the entire university focused on AI, and their seed faculty, they were all early and recent retirees from Carnegie Mellon University, including a former dean that tried to hire me away from the Naval Postgraduate School in 1986. So a quick start with respect to hiring is to find faculty recently retired or separated from an outstanding games program in the United States and bring them on for a 3-year contract. This would get you up and running quickly with appreciative faculty looking for something interesting to do for a few years. And if you focus on your best students, the ones whose presentations are outstanding and smart, then you could begin the dance of trying to get them to teach in your new game development program upon graduation. And the most important hire for the new game development program is the university president, basically the person who makes sure an appropriate amount of money flow is there to create and run the university. Additionally, there needs to be a smart provost who oversees the academic programs from a high level, and hiring a search firm with experience in such hires is probably the right thing to do. The cost of this new university, if you propose a plan to create the games industry in a new country, the next question people ask you is, what does it cost? Well, it costs whatever you want. But I put together this spreadsheet draft to kind of show you the size of what we might be talking about. And in fact, by the way, the spreadsheet I'm going to show you is once we have 1,000 students, these are the operating costs and revenue flows of the university. This is not the money from the start, which is a different spreadsheet, which I'm not going to show in this presentation. So first, it's a spreadsheet, and all the numbers are changeable to allow you to see what happens if the numbers are different. If you change the total students number, currently 1,000 students, it changes the amount of tuition the university receives per year. And the tuition currently $150,000 per year is changeable as well. That is a very high tuition. I put it there because the cost for starting this up and running it seemed really high. And if I didn't put that number in, then I would be in the red from the start. The size of the faculty set at 65 is also adjustable, and you can see how it impacts budget. The average fully loaded faculty costs about $500,000 a year is a guesstimate, but it is a guess based on experience. The leadership costs are similar to those visible at a university like the University of Southern California. And if you think those are too high for your country and you try and think small numbers there. So for example, if you said, instead of $4 million for my new university president, I want to pay him $600,000. If I want to do faculty at $250,000, then you're starting from people who are not the best that you can get and are not the early retired faculty who already made more money